was nearing midnight when Michael Lane's rental car finally groaned to a stop at the edge of the narrow mountain road. The headlights barely pierced the thick wall of fog ahead, and beyond that, like a ghost stitched into the mountainside, loomed the twisted silhouette of Castle Bran. It didn't rise so much as it watched, its jagged towers clawing up into the night sky like the blackened fingers of a corpse. The climb had been long and treacherous. Even the GPS gave up an hour ago, glitching out and freezing on an endless loop of rerouting. Michael had followed the hand-drawn map someone slipped under his hotel room door in Bucharest. A single sheet with faded ink and a message scribbled in red. He waits for company. The locals had tried to warn him. At the base of the village, the old innkeeper refused to even say the name. One man had gripped Michael's wrist tight and said, "Don't climb that hill, you won't come back." Another just crossed himself and walked away. But Michael Lane was a journalist chasing the story of a lifetime. Castle Bran had been shuttered for nearly 100 years, abandoned after the last caretaker vanished without a trace. The Romanian government listed it as uninhabited. Ruins. Yet someone was keeping it lit. An old photo sent anonymously showed one of the castle's top windows glowing faintly, just enough to catch the silhouette of a tall man standing behind the glass. Michael didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in headlines. He should have turned back the moment his car engine sputtered and died, but instead, he grabbed his flashlight and camera bag and stepped out into the cold night. The air was sharp, heavy with the scent of wet stone and something metallic, like rust or blood. The silence wrapped around him too tightly, like a blanket pulled over a corpse. The castle gates were open. That should have been his first real warning. Iron and ancient, they hung ajar, their hinges groaning faintly as the wind pushed them just enough to suggest movement, just enough to feel like an invitation. Michael passed through them with a chill curling along his spine. Courtyard was strangled in overgrowth, but the path was unnervingly clear. His boots crunched softly over dead leaves and loose gravel as he approached the main door, tall, arched, and slightly open. The castle greeted him like a mouth frozen mid-scream. Inside, the air was colder, still, the kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. His flashlight clicked on and swept across walls lined with crumbling stone and faded tapestries that twitched slightly as if something behind them breathed. He walked forward, every footstep echoing through the cavernous halls. The light flickered once, then again. No power, he muttered to himself. Of course. As he moved deeper, the silence grew heavier. Each room seemed preserved, not untouched by time, but tended to. Chairs weren't dusty. Candles, though unlit, were fresh. A teacup on a side table held a faint red smear along the rim. Michael swallowed hard and pressed on. The grand staircase loomed ahead, wide and sweeping like a stage set for nightmares. As he ascended, he passed a wall of portraits. Their eyes followed him, or maybe it just felt that way. All the faces were pale, sharp, and oddly familiar. One in particular stopped him cold. A tall man in a high-collared coat, sunken cheeks, eyes like deep black wells. Beneath the frame, the name was etched in Romanian. Vlad Dracula. His skin crawled. Michael reached the top floor, his breath fogging in the air. He set up his camera in the castle's main hall, a wide chamber with high ceilings, cracked stone columns, and a long, rotting banquet table. His flashlight flickered again, but hell. He hit record. "This is Michael Lane," he whispered, voice low and tense. "I'm inside Castle Bran. It's real. Someone's been here. I think someone..." He stopped. A soft noise echoed from the far end of the room. A click, a thump, then nothing. He turned quickly, shining the light toward the sound. Nothing moved, but the room suddenly felt tighter, like the walls had leaned in an inch. "Hello," he called, voice cracking. Silence. He stepped forward. The light dimmed, fluttered, then died. Complete darkness. He froze. His breath felt loud. Then he heard it. Steps. Not echoing. Not distant. Right there. Just outside the ring of black. Slow. Deliberate. Getting closer. He fumbled with the flashlight, hands slick with sweat. When the beam finally snapped back on, it landed on a tall figure standing at the other end of the room, perfectly still, like a shadow given form. The figure smiled. Michael backed up, shaking. Who are you?" The man didn't walk. He was just closer suddenly. His face was pale, stretched tight, like wax over bone. His lips, red and thin, curled into a small, knowing smile. His eyes glowed faintly, as if lit from inside. "You came," the figure said, voice low, smooth and cold as river stone. Michael stumbled backward, flashlight jerking wildly. "You're not real," he muttered. The figure tilted his head. "But you believe, don't you? Deep down. That's why you came." Michael turned to run, but the heavy doors behind him slammed shut with a thunderous bang. He spun back around, and the figure was there, mere feet away. He didn't walk. He just was. "I was a man once," the voice whispered. "Then a prince. Then something more. Something cursed. Something eternal." Michael's mouth went dry. "I just wanted the truth." Dracula's expression darkened. "And now you'll carry it." He moved in a blur. Michael screamed. Cold fingers closed around his throat and lifted him from the floor like a doll. His legs kicked helplessly. His vision flickered. "Men like you," Dracula hissed, "always think they can walk away." Michael gasped. "Please." Dracula leaned in. "He waits, but never alone." The world went black. 3 days later, villagers found Michael's car still parked at the base of the mountain. His gear was inside, his ID, his wallet, but no sign of Michael. On his recorder, only one final clip, static, then heavy breathing, a faint heartbeat, then a whisper. He waits for company. And on some nights, from the highest window of Castle Bran, when the fog pulls back just enough, travelers say they see a figure standing in the shadows, smiling down at the road, waiting, still waiting.